what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio. Watching us live on one of our W Show social media pages. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other host of the show, Jazz and Noel. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have Broderick controlling us and Richard Parilla in the studio, radio station studio, making us sound better than we actually are. How is it? How's everyone's week this morning?
It was good. It went by fast.
Happy birthday, Jazz.
Yeah, I remember. It's your birthday. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk to us. How was your birthday week?
Yeah, shout out to everybody that wished me happy birthday and everything. I had a good time, and I'm surrounded by love and blessings, so I appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
That's such an adult answer. I love it.
What you expect her to say? No, like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I had a great time. Something like that. Nothing. It was a whole bunch of like adultness there. I was like, wow. Okay, that's mature. I need to work on my birthday statement this upcoming year.
I had to get right. I had to make it right.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody that's tuning in as always. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. Man, it's NFL playoffs week. AFC Championship games, NFC Championship games. We'll dive in to both championship games and give our thoughts and predictions on the Chiefs versus Bengals out at Arrowhead Stadium tomorrow. And Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens off the Hall of Fame ballot. Is Baseball Hall of Fame in trouble? We'll give our thoughts. And James Harden, I know you'll have a lot to talk about on this one. He responded to rumors of unhappiness with the Nets. And Jake Paul, he buys UFC parent company. I have no idea why he did. I think it's a small flex. He bought some company shares in the parent company of UFC, and as the Dana White and Jake Paul feud continues as overpay escalates. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week. Let's get to today's headlines.
You're tuned in to the W. And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
And then there were 4. The NFL playoffs are now down to 4 teams. The NFC and the AFC Championship games are tomorrow. Let's start with the NFC Championship game. You guys' thoughts about the Rams versus 49ers? Steve, we'll start with you.
I didn't think the Rams would make it this far, honestly. They gave up in week 18. They gave up a 17-point lead against this same 49ers team. 49ers came back to win, and I think that's the road that the 49ers is on right now. They're still riding off that high of the week 18 win, coming back from 17. So it's kind of like, and I said this before, but I'll say it again. It's kind of like when the Chiefs, they 2019, I believe, they beat the Houston Texans down 24, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. I think that's the same road that this 49ers team is taking. And it's kind of hard to beat a team that's coming off of a high, right? So I think it'll be the 49ers that take this game.
Um, I hate to agree with you because I want the Rams to succeed. I kind of had them as like a dark horse, Super Bowl contender. But the 49ers, I mean, they're just playing their best football at the right time. As far as quarterbacks go, I mean, the Rams seem to have the obvious advantage, but Jimmy Garoppolo just seems to find a way to win football games no matter what happens. So I'm with you. I kind of see the 49ers winning this game in a knockdown drag out fight. These teams are obviously in the same NFC West, and they've been fighting with each other for, it seems like that's been the best division for like 4 or 5 years now. So I expect a really, really good football game, really tough, a whole lot of good defense, but I got the 49ers taking it.
Glad we on the same page.
And then, of course, the game right in our backyard out of Arrowhead. What are you guys thinking? Chiefs versus the Bengals. No, we'll start with you.
This is one of those things. It just seems all signs are pointing in the way of the Chiefs. I mean, coming off a highly emotional win last week, good old 13 seconds. The number 13 has been thrown around a whole lot this week. I've seen it on T-shirts, tweets, just everything. So it just seems like the Chiefs are playing the best football at the right time, especially earlier in the year. Everybody was kind of like, oh no, the sky's falling. Patrick Mahomes, interceptions, defense not playing defense. And now it just seems like everything is clicking. I mean, the Bengals did defeat the Chiefs, a couple weeks back, but I think right now what we're looking at is a completely locked in Patrick Mahomes. And it seemed to be impossible to stop. So the Bengals, this is a young team. They haven't exactly been there before. It's a road game for them in the loudest stadium in the NFL. All signs are pointing towards the Chiefs getting this win easily. So it may not be easily, but I will say that when it comes down to it in the fourth quarter, those things matter. Experience, the stadium, having a Patrick Mahomes who's been there, having a veteran team. So I got the Chiefs taking it, no matter really any kind of way, really. So
this game is kind of weird to me. I thought that it should have been. I mean, and I guess how everything played out. You played a game that's in front of you, but I felt like the AFC Championship game was last week against the Bills. The Bills are a much better team to me than the Cincinnati Bengals. Josh Allen is a much better quarterback to me than the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. That being said, when the Chiefs faced this team, I believe it was week 17 in Cincinnati, I feel like the Chiefs, they went out and did what they wanted to do. However, they went up 14-0. They went up 14-0, then it was 21-7, and then the Bengals came roaring back. So on the defensive side of the ball, I don't feel like they frustrated Joe Burrow, if that makes sense, enough in that game. So you had Frank Clark that didn't do much. You had Melvin Ingram, who gave a lot of spark to the defense, since the turnaround from 3-4 up until now, but he didn't do much. He had one tackle in that game, one rush, I believe, but no sacks. And that's the thing that I think the Chiefs are going to have to do coming up tomorrow is they're going to have to get after the quarterback. They're going to have to make Joe Burrow rushed. And I think that will alleviate some of the cornerback issues that took place the last time these two teams met. And a lot of people talk about the Travis Ward, Jamar Chase matchup. Why didn't defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo
double him?
Help, him. Give Travis Ward help, and that was a big talking point the whole week after the loss. To me, I feel like the Chiefs want to do what they want to do, which sometimes you get coaches and players that are just like, man, I got it. And then, but the interesting thing about that is, and he said it this week, Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, said, hey, on all those plays, Traverse Ward was right there. A lot of those 50-50 balls, and I kind of attributed it to in basketball terms. It's like, all right, Kobe goes out and scores 81, but how many times is he's going to score 81 points? Jamar Chase went out and had 260 some odd receiving yards, but how many times is that going to be able to happen? Like, I mean, when it's your day, when you have a hot hand, you just have a hot hand, and I think that was what happened. Any throw that Jamar Chase, it could have been, he could have caught the ball behind his back with his eyes closed. He was just having that kind of a day. So will he have that kind of day tomorrow? I don't believe so. So I think the Chiefs will be fine.
I will say, though, that it doesn't bode well for them that last week they could not stop a wide receiver number 2 for the Bills last week. And it was just bad cornerback play, if I'm being quite honest. They just need to kind of clean up their fundamentals. I think they're not as bad as that game would suggest as they played. Yeah. So they just need to clean it up a little bit because Jamar Chase is another beast. And I think Spagnuolo's not gonna risk it. He's gonna double. He's gonna have that safety over. He's gonna have that linebacker under, and he's have that cornerback, follow him around. So
yeah. And you mentioned last week, I think, with the play of Traverse Ward, he did shadow Stephon Diggs. I believe Stephon Diggs only had 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very well played.
But here, and this is the smart thing that teams are going to start doing, and this is all across the NFL. Your third best wide receiver has to beat the third best cornerback or the fourth best cornerback on the opposing team, and that's just what they did last week. You got a Mike Hughes who, and of course they missed Tyrann Mathieu so much, when he went down because of the concussion. But I think, with no Tyrann Mathieu, that communication just wasn't there. We hear a lot about like L'Jarius Sneed says, hey, when I don't know where I'm supposed to go, every single play, we hear Tyrann Mathieu say, hey, this is what they're running. You got him. You got watch the crossing route or whatever. So with him not, with him being out last week, I think that was really a detriment to the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think it's going down to the last 13 seconds again? Because I don't think I can have another heart attack.
No, I don't think so. I think last week was
the greatest football game I've probably ever seen.
Yeah. 13 seconds. So let me ask y'all this. You mentioned that 13 seconds. Did you guys think that the Chiefs were going to be victorious?
Yes.
No, I thought the game was over. When the 13 seconds came, I was like, okay, so they've been the number one defense in the league has been getting burned all day. They can hold on for 13 seconds. I was like, it's going to be hard for even a Patrick Mahomes to overcome this.
Yeah.
And it didn't come without mistakes from the defense. Them 2 plays were huge mistakes by the Bills by covering the sideline and not actually, guarding somebody or even some space. They allowed him to basically just run down the field untethered and get that first down. So, I mean, it was spectacular, but it didn't come without mistakes from the Bills. So that's why I was like, okay, they can hold water for 13 seconds. But apparently not.
I disagree. I just had a feeling, I think, that Pat was going to find a way. And it was like, I probably should be worried, but I just wasn't. I don't know what it was. I just had that feeling that it was going to play in our favor somehow.
So many times we've seen it, though. Like I said, the 24 comeback against the Houston Texans. I mean, we've seen it time and time again where this team comes roaring back, and he's led this team, to some fourth quarter victories. And it's like, all right, whatever it is, what it is, he's just going to do his thing. So, yeah, shout out to the Chiefs.
Sure. Now, Bonds misses Hall of Fame and final year on the ballot. Barry Bonds remains shut out of the Hall of Fame with one path to Cooperstown officially reaching a dead end on Tuesday night. Noah, we'll start with you.
I mean, obviously, clearly he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't care what writers, I don't care what other media personalities, I don't care what baseball historians have to say on the subject. He is a part of baseball's story, and let's not forget that actually baseball profited off the fact that all of this was going on in this era. Like, it wasn't like they tried to completely stamp it out and stop it. Like, this was just a part of baseball for a while, and to try to keep him out of the story of baseball when he owns the record. And let's not forget that before this even came about, he was already one of the greatest baseball players ever anyway. So it's a lot it's rich, basically, I think, for them to have this high and mighty view of what baseball should be versus what it really is when it comes to cheating. Because, I mean, as we know, if you're not cheating, you're not actually trying. But it's so rich to me. It just reeks of, what's the word I'm looking for? Entitlement. And just, I don't actually feel bad for him, because I don't think he cares, if I'm being honest. So, but
I think he cares. I think the baseball world cares. I mean, well, not only the let me fix that. Not only the baseball world, but the sports world cares. I mean, Barry Bonds hit more home runs and won more MVPs than any other player, right? Roger Clemens, who was also left off the ballot, won more Cy Young awards than any other player. I mean, yet they're both not in the Hall of Fame. And the thing about it is, their shots to get voted in by the Baseball Writers Association, it ended this past week. I mean, this goes back to a 2014 rule that changes it limited candidates for 10 years to 10 years on the ballot instead of 15. Hypocritical, really. The change, and it leaves two of the greatest players of all time off of the Hall of Fame ballot, or out of the Hall of Fame as of right now. And of course, what hurts Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens is that they're poster children, so to speak, of the steroid era in baseball. Both players admitted to using PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, but the allegations surrounding them have been well documented in books and even in courtrooms. But they did vote Tito Ortiz, Big Papi. They voted him in, but of course he never admitted, never tested positive for performance enhancing drugs. So I don't think for 10 years you leave these two men out of the Hall of Fame. There's no reason behind it. Not at all.
Hate. And another factor, as far as his, I will say he was, they think he was arrogant. They said he was aloof. It's one of those, it's a popularity contest, if we're being honest.
Of course it is.
How cool are you with these other people? Like, how nice of a person do they think you are? Like, who do they think you are as a person? And that's really why. I mean, because obviously number-wise, we've seen it happen to Terrell Owens. They didn't want to vote him in. He's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer if you look at his numbers. But, some people he rubbed some people the wrong way. Not that he didn't do anything illegal. But they decided, we're not going to vote you in first ballot just because, we don't like you, honestly.
So T.O. or Barry Bonds?
T.O. They don't like either one of them.
Yeah.
They don't like either one of them. So it's strange, but this is why baseball is a dying sport. These old rules, these unwritten, invisible rules about the game, the great game of baseball. This is why kids aren't playing it as much. It's not as popular. It is still making money, though. It is still making money. So,
and here's my thing. Here's my thing about it. I feel like you're having old guys that are journalists, writers, and they're having to vote on these players going into a sport a Hall of Fame that they never played. It's like they're giving their opinions on some of the guys. They know what they're talking about, but some of these guys, just like you said, they're just hateful, spiteful. Oh, well, he used performance enhancing drugs or blah, blah, blah. And I mean, same goes for Buck O'Neil. How long did it take Buck O'Neil to get into the Hall of Fame? He's just now going to be a part of the 2022 Hall of Fame class, right? So, man, it's definitely a messed up situation. But the thing about it too is the fact that I feel like they should have Hall of Famers that vote other Hall of Famers in. It only makes sense.
And I was gonna
across the board, all sports.
I'm glad you said that, Steve, because those who it's a weird line because we don't like to say, "Oh, since you've never done this, you're not qualified to talk about this or be a part of this." We hate to say that, but at the same time, when it comes to situations like this, only players really know what players are going through.
Yep.
And to say that somebody who owns the most holy grail record in a sport isn't allowed to be in the Hall of Fame when, okay, let's take this. Other players were taking PEDs. A whole lot of other players were taking PEDs.
Pitchers, especially.
They weren't ending up. Those same pitchers were probably walking Barry Bonds because they didn't want him to hit home runs off of them. And he ended up with more home runs than anybody else in history. So what about these other players that are possibly could be in the Hall of Fame that took PEDs, never got caught, but they didn't have 762 home runs. I believe that's the number. So what about then? Like what I just don't understand, and I guess I never will, but it's not meant for me to understand.
Well said. No. Now, James Harden responds to rumors of unhappiness with the Nets. Let's hear what he had to say first.
Hey James, there's some reports out today that suggest that you might not be happy in Brooklyn or with the rotations that are happening. I'm just wondering, if you can speak
reports
to
from who?
All
right, then.
Bleacher Report.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Instead of speaking to the reports, can you just talk about your experience living in Brooklyn?
What do you mean?
The report suggested that you were unhappy.
You're talking about reports? I don't know about reports. Did you guys hear from me?
That's what I'm asking.
All right, so I don't know about no reports.
Do you enjoy New York City?
Yeah. Yeah.
James, not to beat a dead horse or belabor the point, but just to be specific, one of the complaints that the report claimed that you had was with rotations, not having set crunch time rotations.
I don't know. Listen. I don't know about any reports. Of course, I'm frustrated because, we're not healthy. It's a lot of inconsistency for whatever reason, injuries, COVID, whatever you want to call it. But it's frustrating. I think everybody in this organization is frustrated because we are better than what our record is, and we should be, on the way up. So that's all it is. I don't know about reports. If you didn't hear from me, I don't talk to nobody. I have an agent. if you don't hear from me, then it's reports. So, I'm frustrated because I want to win, and I'm a competitor. It's pretty simple.
It's a lot. It's a lot to this. It's a whole lot to what he just said. And I'm the type of guy that likes to read between the lines, right? Of what a person is saying. And some things that stuck out was one, a lot of inconsistency, right? And he said because of injuries and COVID. Injuries, one, KD, who hurt his knee, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, so he's out. Kyrie Irving, COVID. He refuses to get a COVID-19 vaccine, which he before the season started, he could not, and he still cannot play in Brooklyn. He can't play any home games. He can only play road games, which he was just allowed to start playing road games by the team. So it's inconsistency there because Kyrie's there some games, Kyrie's not there. So then when Kyrie's not there, it leaves James Harden to, carry the team on his own. And when James Harden signed up to go to the Brooklyn Nets or agreed to go to the Brooklyn Nets, he didn't sign up for that. Like, he signed up to go play with KD and Kyrie Irving. So But the other thing that I think that sums all that up is the fact that James Harden, to me, he set his own self up for this, because it's like, all right, you left one team, and you've been able to ball out on your own in Houston for years, right? He didn't have any help in Houston. So why can't you do the same thing? Keep your team afloat until these guys are able to come back for whatever reason it is. KD, help your team. KD didn't cry when James Harden was injured. KD didn't cry when Kyrie was injured. KD came out and tried to do what he had to do. So I think James Harden, man, is just, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just a lost cause. to me, I mean. You man, you're a hooper, right? You James Harden. I mean, you've led the league in scoring before. You've led your team, like when he was in Houston. I mean, James Harden is just, I don't want to just say, man, just keep playing, but it's just like, come on, you can't. You can be frustrated, of course, but not to the point that it's like, all right, trade me or let me go somewhere else.
I think it's even more than that. I honestly think that he doesn't want to be there anymore. I really, because when I even looking at that interview, looking at his body language, like it was so tense and uptight. Like, you know, when somebody asks you a question and they're onto something, but you don't want them to know that they're onto something.
Yeah.
So you snap back. You like, your answers are short, they're quick, they're laced with venom, so to speak. Those were the kind of answers that I was getting. I was hoping to see his body language a little more relaxed, like, hey, like, you know, we're gonna get this thing figured out, like, you know,
right,
it's, you know, things happen, like, we just gotta, you know, keep playing. And I'm sure that is what he's saying to his teammates and everything like that. But to me, I feel like he's over it. Like you said, he didn't sign up for this. He didn't sign up for Kyrie to do what he's doing right now. I think he thought that Kyrie was committed all the way through whatever is going down to be a part of this team and win a championship. And I don't think Kyrie exactly cares as much as I think James Harden does, especially having already won a ring before.
True.
KD has won his as well. But I think KD wants to win just as badly as James Harden does. I think the person in the equation that's not really, you know, working is Kyrie, which I feel like it's weird because Kyrie is a very likable guy. I think all the players respect and love Kyrie and they like him. He just kind of beats
when he's not on the weird stuff, when he's not on the world drama.
I was gonna say, I think they like him through that. I think they just kind of know that he moves to the beat of his own drum kind of thing, and they just kind of let Kyrie be Kyrie. It just, when it comes down to it, it's frustrating because now, you know, the chips are down. Like, we need you to play, bro. Like, the season is the end of the season is fast approaching. Playoffs are coming. We need you in the rotation every game so we can get this camaraderie. So when we get to the playoffs, we don't miss a beat. But we're missing beats. Like we're missing beats every other game that you're not there. We're missing beats, and this is something that potentially the Bucks can take advantage of, or the Miami Heat can take advantage of, because they're building their team chemistry up now. Heck, the Bucks have their team chemistry. They're good. They're just waiting on you guys to get where they are. So I think his frustration lies really with Kyrie, even though if he's not mad at him or he's not upset at him, he's just kind of like, man, this is frustrating. I wanted to, you know, play with this guy, and he's not there every day. And so what are we supposed to do? Like, we let him play every, you know, away game, but that's not enough. So I think he is frustrated. Hopefully he's able to get over it, but I am of the mind of that he's going to be looking to go elsewhere at the end of this year. I don't think he wants to deal with this anymore.
I agree with Noel. I think there was definitely a little bit of venom in the tone, and I think we've talked about it a lot lately when you're asking people questions in the heat of the moment or putting somebody on the spot. And I feel like in this one, his true colors kind of showed. I think he wants out. I don't think he'll go as far as to act out, but I think he's definitely that he's frustrated and would.
Yeah. It's kind of, we see these guys throw tantrums, like, you know, we've seen it. Like, if they don't get what they want, and it's kind of weird too, because I mean, you're a grown man, and instead of going to Kyrie and said, "Hey, bro, listen, this is what it is. This is what I'm feeling," you know,
he probably already did.
We can't say if he has or he hasn't, but instead of just saying, "All right, I'm frustrated. I'm this, I'm that." That's why I kind of respect Joel Embiid, right? What did he come out and do? Man, Ben talked about. He said what he felt about Ben Simmons. He really did, and so I can respect that. Rather as in sugarcoating, like, oh, we a lot of inconsistency. You know, we got injuries, we got COVID. Why don't you say a lot of inconsistency? KD's out because of his injury. Kyrie, we don't know why he's not. I mean, we know why he's not playing, but there's really not a reason for it. He should be here with us. Come out and say that. Then just say, oh, we got a lot of inconsistency.
I feel like the reason athletes don't do that is because that itself is like, right now it's a story, but then if we allow people to tell the truth like they want to, because trust me, I want to come out and say it, but it's like, if I come out and say this, then now that's just prolonging it. Now it's really a story. Now they have more to grasp onto and more narratives to create and more stories to write. And it's just kind of like, I want to tell the truth. I really sincerely want to tell y'all how I actually feel. But y'all going to take my words and twist them and make them into something that they're not, just like you're already doing by asking me these questions and I give you these generic answers and you twist them anyway. So that's how I would feel if I was a professional athlete. I would feel like, man, I'm going to just give y'all these generic answers because you're going to make whatever you want to anyway. So why not? But I think that's kind of why they don't come out and like just attack the question like they want to.
Now, Sean Payton steps down as Saints coach after 15 seasons. He says, "I don't like the word retirement. I still have a vision for doing things in football," and said that he'll be honest. He might be coaching again at some point, but he won't. He doesn't think it'll be sometime this year. Steve, we'll start with you.
Man, this is another interesting one. We see the coaching carousel in the league right now, but I didn't think Sean Payton would retire. Is there writing on the wall that says, "Hey, I'm leaving, you know, some things open"? Like, I'm not closing the door on coaching, but I'm gonna leave some things open because he may have gotten a phone call from a couple of owners said, "Hey, you know, if you just happen to retire or not be coaching with the Saints anymore in the following season, we may pick you up. We may want to sign you to a deal." So, I mean, that could be something, or it just could be, "Hey, I just want to spend some time with my family, take some time off." But you don't leave your team high and dry. You know, I mean, it's not like the Saints are a terrible organization. They're not the Bears. They're not the Jets. They're not the New York Giants, right? The Eagles. So I feel like, or even the Houston Texans, they're not that bad. They're still the New Orleans Saints. They still have some type of, you know, a good team this past season, and I think they'll be solid next year. I mean, they have a good defense. They still have Alvin Kamara, who's one of the best running backs in the league. You still have Michael Thomas, who's still one of the best wide receivers in the league. You still have a great offensive line. You're just missing one piece as a quarterback. So, but opens the door for Eric Bieniemy. I think this is a great spot for Eric Bieniemy, assistant coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's a great fit for him, and I hope he gets the job.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that too. I think he would fit in with that culture very, very well. As far as Sean Payton goes, I'm glad he left because that means he can come to the Dallas Cowboys like I wanted him to be the head coach back way back in 2006, 2007 when
it could happen.
He was our offensive coordinator, and I was like, all right, I feel like he's the next head coach. I feel like he's the one that's gonna, he's gonna be our next one, and he just ended up leaving and going to the Saints, and it hurt me, even as a kid, I was like, man, this was the guy. I know he was. And sure enough, they won a Super Bowl a couple years later. So I want to see Sean Payton in Dallas. I hate to say stuff like this, but I've had enough of Mike McCarthy. I've seen enough. I didn't think he was the right hire in the first place.
Oh.
But even more so now, seeing the mistakes that were made and kind of just the lack of passion, it felt like in the playoff loss. I've had enough. I want to see Sean in Dallas. So
okay,
Jerry, I already know you on the phone. They're good friends, so I'm sure they're having their conversations. No collusion, though. No collusion. No tampering. No, nothing like that.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss one of the college conferences is planning on eliminating divisions. It's the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Our show, use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Big Ten is considering eliminating divisions, Iowa AD says. The officials have discussed the idea of eliminating divisions in football. Noah, we'll start with you.
It sounds good. It sounds like they have a plan to, get rid of these divisions so they can actually play less conference games and more play games against teams in other conferences like the Pac-12 and the Big 12, perhaps. Like they're just trying to, I guess, schedule more non-conference games. So I like it.
I like it as well. But I think at the end of the day, what it's gonna come down to is I think they're gonna do away with just these separate divisions. You're gonna just have one big NCAA, so to speak. You're not gonna have the SEC conference. You're not gonna have the Big 12 and different conferences. You're going to have just one big, NCAA, and then they just play how they play. I think, right now that is, to me, because you have the SEC with the conference that's just up here, in football. I can't say so much as basketball, but I think, at least in football, they're going to have just one big division, and then they just kind of battle it out like that.
And I think that would help also with the matchups too, because I feel like right now with a lot of those non-conference games, we see blowouts, and those are more chances for injury, things like that. If they're I'd rather have that and do all solid matchups than just games that are not even games. Really.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Jake Paul buys UFC parent company shares as Dana White feud over fighter pay escalates. He bought shares in Endeavor Group Holdings, the company which owns the UFC, and the fighter has been calling for increases in benefits and earnings for athletes within the sport, particularly butting heads with Dana White, UFC president.
If this don't scream, put your money where your mouth is, I don't know what does. You know, he's definitely putting some money to it. He wants better pay for the fighters, which I don't see anything wrong with that. But I think I'm trying to find what like Jake Paul's like his motive is for doing it. You know, is it more to it than just getting fighters paid, or is it just he's looking out of the kindness of his heart to spend his money to go buy into the UFC just because now he has a say in what the operations of what happens. So I hope it's more than that. I hope it's just not a Jake Paul doing Jake Paul things like, hey, I got the money now. What do you say, Dana White? Like, here, take this, take this. You know, so. I'm interested to see what happens in the near future.
It's both. This is a personal move as well as he wants to actually help somebody out while he does it. The streets is saying that his pockets aren't quite deep enough by he himself to actually have enough to buy in to actually have a say at the table, basically. But I guess this is a start, and I guess he could also get somebody else to go in with him to buy enough of a share to like actually affect what happens in the UFC. So it's kind of like one of those things where he takes a small piece of, you know, whatever piece of this company, and he's like, all right, this is my say, this is what I want to happen, and do I have enough to affect how you guys operate? And the streets are saying right now he doesn't have enough, so we'll see. But I do like it.
Yeah, because Dana White got the money. It's like, man, all right, this little mosquito, this little gnat keeps trying to fly around me, but I'm trying to brush him off, and he wants to take his little what 1 point whatever $1 million and put it to buy into my company. Come on, come on, Jake Paul, stop playing with me.
We're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you need.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off the sneakers of the week, we have the Nocta Nike Hot Step Air Terra Whites.
I got a lot to say about this. These terrible. Like
they kind of remind me of, y'all remember the Deion Sanders? I don't remember what model they were. I think they were like the Deion Sanders 2s, the second model of his sneaker. It kind of has those vibes on the side, but then it's just like, nah, I'm not feeling these. But Drake fans are gonna love them.
That's what I'm saying. They're only gonna sell because they're Drake's. I mean, because they're terrible. And I feel like Drake is playing in our face because there's no way he thinks these are tight. Like, I feel like he's just kind of like, you know what, let me just throw these out there, and they gonna think I'm smooth, so they gonna think they're smooth, which they're not. Like, these are probably one of the ugly sneakers that we've actually posted. So wow, okay, all right, Drake, maybe next time.
The Nike Dunk High Ups, that's super.
They cool. I like the orange. I like, the only thing I don't like the sole. Like, it's too thick. It just, if they were just regular dunks, like you see the dunks on the bottom, I just don't like that. But otherwise, they cool.
Yeah, I can see that. They are a little different sole wise.
They too platform ish for me.
And they got gum bottom though. You love gum bottom.
Yeah, not on these.
The Nike LeBron 19 polarized blue and crimson bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay. LeBron does have some cool like accents on his shoes, like kind of like the details, but like the overall shoe just sometimes it misses.
Yeah.
And my favorites this week, classics, Nike Dunk High Pandas.
I need these. If anybody can get me a size 12. And I'm only paying retail. Don't try to get me $90 shoes. I'm only paying retail. Nah, but I love these, man. They dope. They dope.
Yeah, they cool.
Now the NFL reels in a record $1.8 billion in sponsorship revenue in the 2021 season. Hate it or love it.
Woo! I love it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It's the greatest show on television, like bar none. There's no better show that you can think of. I mean, even better reality show, whatever you want to call it, on television than football. So, duh.
Who sing that song? It's a whole lot of money in this thing. NFL is saying they laughing to the bank with the money getting. And a lot of it is the gambling money, partnership with DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, all those. It just goes to show you, man, those casinos have a lot of disposable income. And then Microsoft, they're paying $100 million per year. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's
a lot.
$1.8 billion in your bank account. What are you doing first?
1.8 billion?
Billion.
Whatever I want.
Y'all ain't never gonna see me again, boy. Y'all ain't never gonna see me again.
1.8 billion. Do you know how much money that is? Oh man. Could y'all run through 1.8 billion? Like,
nope. Sure couldn't.
No way.
Sure couldn't.
I'm with no.
Do it.
I'm with no. Catch me outside. You'll never hear from me again.
Mm-hmm.
Now the fans campaign for overtime rules change after Bills Chiefs. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
Hate it.
That's so stank.
I want some of the people that's watching to chime in on this one. I want to hear what people have to say on our social media feed. This is crazy because the Chiefs in 2018, because at the end of the season, all the teams can submit, different proposals to the league of some of the rules and things that they want to change, some of the changes they want to change. So the Chiefs, this was one of them. This was a rule change that they would have liked to see. Now it's flipped because what happened in 2018, the Chiefs went down to the wire against Tom Brady in overtime. They did not They were not able to even touch the field. The offense did. Patrick Mahomes didn't even get the ball. Same thing happened last weekend. Josh Allen was not able to touch the ball. So,
Facts.
Of course, it's going to go again. The whatever team that's on the opposing end of that is always upset. Like the fans, Bills Mafia, whoever, they're always upset. But I just feel like both teams should at least have an opportunity. But it is whenever it's going for your team, it's going for your team. And the Chiefs are now headed to the AFC Championship game. So who cares?
I have a lot to say. Not a lot to say, but I'll say this: if your defense can't at least stop them from getting a touchdown, then what are we doing? I think the rules are perfect. Like, all right, one team gets the ball. If they don't score a touchdown, they kick a field goal. All right, cool. The other team get a chance. They don't score a touchdown, they kick a field goal. All right, cool. Whoever scores next, that's who wins the game. I don't want to hear it, man. You get on the field, you have to stop somebody. You can't just say, all right, well, we deserve a chance too. Well, then your defense has to get a stop. Football is played on both sides of the field. You got your offense, you got your defense. If your defense not up to par, you ain't winning no championships. Sorry. So.
Yeah, I'm with Noel, and I think that I would only petition if it didn't work in my favor. So thank you.
I ain't say that, Jazz. I ain't say that.
That works.
So it did last weekend, so I'm going to keep on rocking with it. I like it.
All right.
Now, Lamar Jackson responds to Antonio Brown wanting to join forces. Hate it or love it.
Don't do it.
Oh, man.
No.
This is look, Antonio Brown, I no matter how good he is as a player, sometimes some things are overlooked. And he's on a whole media tour right now for people that don't know. After what happened in Tampa Bay.
He's a rapper now, too.
He's on a whole media tour trying to clear his name, so to speak. So, look, Lamar, he's going to be upset. Look, he's upset when he doesn't get the ball. Like that was rumored to be what was happening in Tampa Bay, and now he wants to go to a run first team. Like Lamar Jackson doesn't think pass first; he thinks run first. We've seen it. The writing's on the wall there. So you want to go to a team that runs the ball over 60% of the time? No, you're not going to be happy. And it sounds good. Like it sounds good. Yeah, congratulations. It sounds good, but no, it's not going to work. Pick another team.
I don't want you. Don't be coming over there ruining Lamar Jackson. We got the case of the good guy over here who does everything right. Everybody loves him. He doesn't make mistakes in the media. He's just very likable guy. Then we got this guy over here, which I'm just not gonna slander him. I'm gonna just say we have Antonio Brown over here. We got Lamar Jackson over here. Now they're both from Florida. They're both, they're young. They're both black. They're both wealthy. I think we want them to win as far as in life. But don't be coming over here messing up what Lamar Jackson got going over there. He got something good over there, man. Come on, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that Pompano Beach gonna come roaring out if you think about even saying anything to him about not passing you the ball. It's not going
exactly.
The stuff that you did with Ben Roethlisberger, the stuff that you did in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, it's not gonna happen. You ain't gonna come Lamar Jackson crazy. I tell you that right now.
Exactly.
Sheesh. Now, Myles Garrett gets random drug screen requests after posting Instagram photos. He posted these photos to Twitter also.
It's funny, man, because he posted that shirt off, and then he got some text messages from the league. Granted, and also the thing about this is, which makes it so crazy, is that the Cleveland Browns, the team that Myles Garrett plays for, aren't even in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so he's on his own time. I would have answered not there text message. My phone was off. What y'all need?
Right. Reaching. McDonald's is adding 4 hacked sandwiches to the menu. Crunch and hash brown McMuffin.
Sign me up.
What?
Sign me up. You got the hash brown McMuffin. You can put the sausage egg McMuffin with the hash brown and make a whole sandwich out of it. This is the one I'm liking. You got the 6-piece chicken nugget, barbecue sauce, with a cheeseburger, with the double cheeseburger, put them things on there. Oh yeah, and then the other one is the surf and turf with the Filet-O-Fish and the double cheese. Yeah, sign me up for either one of those. I'm not really feeling the Land Air Sea.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, sign me up. Menu hacks, holla at me.
Man, this is ridiculous. First of all, I feel like they're pogoing off of what the secret menu items. One of which I won't say the name, but if you know, you know, that combined a McChicken and a McDouble together. Like I said, if you know the name, you know the name. But these are all disgusting. I'm not eating none of these, except for maybe that hash brown McMuffin. That does look kind of tough.
Yeah, I know.
But the rest of these, they can kick rocks. That's disgusting.
Yo,
Surf and turf.
You try it.
Who is eating Filet-O-Fish these days? I need to know who's keeping these alive.
Me.
You eating Filet-O-Fish,
look,
man?
Put a Filet-O-Fish and put some buffalo sauce on it. It will change your life.
These look like a stomach ache. I'm good.
This is disgusting. That's disgusting.
Kansas State's Ayoka Lee breaks women's NCAA basketball record by scoring 61 points.
Look, she was out there. Look, she was
eating
it was barbecue chicken out there, boy. She was in that paint
and did not even have to shoot a 3-pointer
at all. Not a single one. I watched the highlights. Literally, she was just in the paint. Like, yep, let me get that.
Yeah, I talked to a Kansas State assistant coach, Ebony Halliburton, who went to high school with, and I told her, I'm like, hey, I talked to her this morning. I'm like, hey, she is a beast. So yeah, she invited us to come down to a game too. So,
that's dope. Oh yeah, we gotta check that out. We gotta come check that out.
Say less. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says John Stockton's COVID-19 comments make us look like dumb jocks. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think statements like that make the public look upon athletes as basically dumb jocks for trying to explain away something that is obviously a pandemic. And the best way to fight pandemics is through vaccination and testing. Those are the means by which we identify the problem and do our best to mitigate it. And I don't understand anyone saying anything else that makes sense. It doesn't make sense what he's saying. This is a preventative measure that has been useful in many different circumstances. I remember when I was a kid and we had to go get polio vaccinated. And some of the kids were like, "It's the needle lady," and they were all scared. But
speak on it, Kareem. Speak on it.
Now,
100%.
Chiefs fans donate $170K to Buffalo Children's Hospital. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I love it. I love that. Yeah, just he couldn't get the win, but we donated.
Mm-hmm. It was in $13 increments, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is a real flex too.
Yeah, it was. I seen that.
Benefits the kids, but hey.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Hey. Urban Meyer says Jack's job was worst experience I've had in my professional lifetime. Hate it or love it.
He brought that on himself.
He sure did.
He brought that on himself.
Let's hear what he had to say.
We're gonna run out of time here, but I think he's coming out and trying to say he's basically trying to do an Antonio Brown, pull a PR tour, trying to save his name. No one told you to stay after a loss and go to your bar and have another woman who is not your wife dancing on you like that. That's one. Two, you just couldn't coach. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but that just wasn't a good fit. I mean, come on now, Urban Meyer. We got stupid written across our foreheads.
We don't.
It's crazy, man. But Thank you to everyone who joined in on today's show. We really appreciate it. I want to give a quick condolences to my family. Lost our uncle, or my uncle yesterday, Daryl Walls. I just want to give my quick condolences to the Walls family. You guys are in my prayers, and please, if you guys can, pray for my family. I would greatly appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And until next week, we are out of here.
The views and opinions expressed in the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.